Well, hello there, everybody. This is the Comedy Thief, and you're watching Funny Old Guys. And beside me is the renowned physician, Dr. Fat Packer. Say hello to our lovely expanding crowds.
Well, hello there, everybody. I hope that you're all watching and you're going to be laughing a lot because we are funny. Yeah.
We are hilarious. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
And down there is homeless Charlie with his wig. That's not his real hair. And I every week he has a different mustache, Doc. You know that?
Yeah. Yeah. He has a wonderful trimmer.
Oh, homeless Charlie, say hello to our expanding audience.
Well, hello to our expanding audience.
You know, I was once expanding in an audience too, but that's a whole different story. Well, anyway, what we do is we tell jokes and you laugh. Those are the rules. So don't mess it up at your end. But before we get started, we have a point of conversation, Dr. Fat Packer, and that is a scenario. You ready? It's 3 a.m. You're in a bar. The bar is closing, and there's one woman left in the bar. What would you say to that woman?
Oh my goodness! Then I would go over and say, Guten Abend, meine Schatzi. That's sweetheart in German, yeah. And I'd say, something like, looks like you didn't get lucky tonight either. It's a good thing we're the last two here.
Oh, two peas in a pod. That would be perfect. Hey, Charlie, you're at 3 a.m. You're in a bar. The bar is closing. There's one woman left in the bar. What would you say to that woman?
Well, I think I'd go up to her and say, "Gee, I'm sorry that no one picked you up, or took you home. But of all the women I've seen in my life, I think you're the one that really needs to go home and get some beauty sleep."
Oh,
Well, you're looking for a lonely night.
That's when the fight started.
Yeah.
All right, it's 3 a.m. I'm in the bar.
Oh, yeah. What do you have to say?
The bar is closing. Last woman in the bar, I would walk up to her and I would tell her 3 lies. 3.
Oh.
Number one, I'm rich. Number 2, I would tell her I prefer men. And number 3, I would say my apartment is a block and a half from here. That's what I would say.
Well, you're lining those right up, aren't you?
Yes. Dr. Fat Packer, tell us a joke.
Well, I saw advertised the other day that the FBI had an open position for an assassin. I said, well, who would advertise that? Well, one of the people that I know came up and was telling me all about it. When he said they did background checks, and they interviewed, they had it narrowed down to 3 people.
Okay.
Right? So for the final thing, they took one of the men to a large metal door and handed him a gun. And they said, we must know that you followed directions, no matter what the circumstances. Inside this room, you will find your wife sitting in a chair. We need you to kill her. When the man said, well, I couldn't do that. I'm not going to shoot my wife. He says, well, then you're not the right man from this job. Take your wife and go home. So the second guy came up and they said the same thing to him. And he walked in the room and he came back out in about 5 minutes. Everything was very quiet. Then he had tears in his eyes and he goes, I tried, but I can't kill my wife. And he says, well, then you don't have what it takes. Go home. So the third guy, he takes the gun and he goes in. When all of a sudden shots were heard, and then they heard screaming and crashing and hanging on the walls. And after a few minutes, everything was quiet. When the man came walking out and he stood there and he goes, some idiot loaded the gun with blanks. I had to strangle her to death.
Strangle her to death. Yeah.
The gun didn't work.
For FBI hiring practices.
Yeah.
Almost, Charlie.
Well, this is a quickie. This is a cooking tip that I got. It's a great tip. if you're tired of boiling water every time you make pasta,
Yeah.
just boil a few gallons at the beginning of the week and then freeze it for later.
Brilliant.
I wish I would have thought of that. Oh, my goodness.
I got
What do you got for us?
I got a new job.
Ooh,
Yeah. I got a job as a yoga instructor yesterday.
oh,
Today I got a phone call. They fired me after one day.
oh, what happened?
And to think that I bent over backwards for those people.
Felt good for you.
Doctor.
Well, I have one of my neighbors is an artist,
A what?
and an artist.
Yes.
He did paintings and such, not houses, paintings.
Gotcha.
When he told me that he went up to the gallery owner where he had his paintings hung,
Yep.
and he asked, has anybody had any interest in them? And he goes, well, I have good news and bad news for you. He says, the good news that a gentleman inquired about your work and he wondered if it would appreciate in value after your death. And when I told him yes, he bought all of them. And the artist said to him, "What? That's wonderful. What's the bad news?" He says, "He's your doctor."
Oh, I get it.
I got it. Oh, very good.
I got it. Oh boy, that's so appreciate value in
Oh, no.
homeless Charlie.
Well, here in our little town, just last week, an 80-year-old lady was arrested for shoplifting.
Whoa.
Ooh.
And the judge asked her, what did she steal? And the old lady said a can of peaches. And
Oh,
then asked, well, how many peaches were in the can? And she said 6. So the judge gave her 6 days in the county jail.
Uh-huh.
oh, that sounds fair.
Well, just then her husband spoke up and said, she also stole a can of peas.
Oh.
Oh, that's not nice.
The other day, I wanted to be entertained, so I went to a magic show.
Ooh, I love magic shows.
Yes, and the magician said, pick a card, any card, and so I grabbed his American Express, and the police are still looking for me.
Good choices.
Dr. Packer.
Yeah, well, as you know, I caught another episode of the old Hollywood Squares the other day.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, they are so funny, those people. The guy who was in charge there, Peter Marshall, he says to Rose Marie, in bowling, what's a perfect score? And she said, Ralph, the pin boy.
That's a perfect score.
Yeah. And then he asked Pauline, he says, is it considered it is considered in bad taste to discuss 2 subjects at a nudist camp. One is politics. What is the other? And Pauline goes, tape measures.
You don't want to.
Yeah, don't discuss those 2 subjects at the thing, okay?
Very, very important. Almost Charlie.
Oh,
Well, you may not know this, but when I was young, I decided to go to medical school.
Oh,
Well, on the entrance exam, we were asked to rearrange these letters, P-N-E-I-S, and form the name of an important body part,
whoa.
which is most
thank goodness.
when erect. Those who answered spine are doctors today, and the rest of us are on Facebook.
Yeah. Boy,
That one works better if you have actually written that out and put it on a piece of paper, but that's okay.
hey,
You
Doc,
got it.
Doc, I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, wow.
But anyway, here's an oldie but a goodie. An oldie
Oh.
but a goodie. This guy goes to a Catholic church and says to the priest, he says, I would like you to perform a funeral for my dog who died. He was my best friend. And the priest said, I can't possibly do that. We don't do funerals for dogs. You'll have to go across the street to the Methodist church. And the the fellow says, well, okay, I will do that. And it's really a shame because there was $1,000 stipend for the funeral. And the priest said, hold it, come on back. He says, why didn't you tell me your dog was Catholic? Da, 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 da,
Oh
da.
my goodness. Oh.
Dr. Pat Packer.
Now, hold on a second. I have to check that one off. There. We steal from the same people. What can I say?
Okay.
I have one that's kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah. This nice, calm, respectable lady, she went into the pharmacy and right up to the pharmacist, looked him straight in the eye and says, I would like to buy some cyanide. Oh, and the pharmacist says, well, what do you need cyanide? And she goes, well, I needed to poison my husband.
Oh, oh.
The pharmacist goes, well, Lord have mercy. I can't give you cyanide to kill your husband. That's against the law. I lose my license. They'll throw both of us in jail. Oh my goodness. No, you cannot have cyanide. The lady reached into her purse. She pulled a picture of her husband in bed with the pharmacist's wife.
Oh.
And he goes, oh, well, now that's different. I didn't know you had a prescription.
Very good.
Kind of like yours, yeah.
Cyanide. Okay, Homeless Charlie.
Well, the guy is sitting on a train across from a woman.
Yep.
And he
All
says,
right.
first time sitting on a train with a pregnant woman.
Oh,
And she replies, sir, I am not pregnant. And he replies, well, it's a long trip.
That's the definition of an optimist, I think.
optimist, jawohl.
So
What do you got for us?
my elderly mom went to the
Oh,
doctor the other day and she goes, doc, she says, I have this terrible pain under my left breast. What's the problem? And the doctor examined her and says, well, ma'am, it seems that you have arthritis in your left knee. That's what he said.
arthritis on your left knee. I got it, yeah.
Last one, doctor.
Oh, my last one. Oh my goodness. Well, I approached this very beautiful woman in the supermarket the other day and I said, you know, I've lost my wife here in the supermarket. Can you talk to me for a couple of minutes? And she goes, well, why? Says, because every time I talk to a beautiful woman, my wife appears out of nowhere.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Last one there, Charlie, go ahead.
Well, quickie, I just figured out that ghosts are actually people who died while trying to fold a fitted sheet.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to finish up with a song.
Oh my goodness. How lucky are we?
I know. Are you ready?
Uh,
There once was a young man named Fred,
Bad,
whose prowess was missing in bed.
bad.
Let me just hear it. There was no tender chatter. Hey, what is the matter? Because later he found out she's
Dad.
exactly. You guys must have heard that song before. So anyway, before we leave, we're done. But before we leave, we always invite a very famous person to be on our next video. And Homeless Charlie, who are we inviting to appear?
well, I thought Shaquille O'Neal would be very interesting. He's quite the comic.
That's
Yeah, that shack.
That's perfect. So Shaquille O'Neal, you are invited to be on our next video, and you have 24 hours to check in to funnyoldguys@gmail.com. And if you don't check in, we're going to throw you in the trash bin. Yes, Doc?
Oh yeah, Charlie. You know how you can stop Shaq from dribbling?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Take the air out of his basketball. What?
Yeah. What were you people thinking out there?
or using a napkin.
Using a napkin, yeah.
Oh, anyway, this is the comedy thief who steal everything we pass along to you today, and I'm passing the farewell along to Dr. Pat Packer. Go for it. Farewell.
Well, choose, Nate. Oh, and don't forget our famous 3 words here. Ready? Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Danke.
Very good. How about saying goodbye there, Homeless Charlie?
Hey, goodbye to everybody. Hit that submit button.
There we go. Okay, everybody say goodbye. We'll see you next time. Everybody wave goodbye. Wave goodbye.
Yeah, tschüss.